Where are you?
On a more sober note, folks, straight ahead, the Twin Towers used to stand against the sky. Dramatic. This church coming up is where the survivors of the World Trade Center were brought. St. Vincent's, the oldest Catholic church in New York City, 1850. Catholic church, Catholic, gotta be talking about churches. Catholic hospital, excuse me, 1850. Ironically, this hospital also ministered to the survivors of the Titanic in 1912. They were brought over here to the hospital. Now, we're going to see a 5 or 6 street intersection up here that was a total scene of despair. After the World Trade Center attack, people didn't know if their loved ones were still in the tower or if they had made it to the hospital. So they came up here and they camped out on these sidewalks for a good week or so, waiting for news. In the midst of all this, and there were thousands and thousands of pictures all over the walls and fences, in the midst of all this, something beautiful happened. I know that's what sometimes happens in the midst of tragedy. You got something beautiful. Light of God shines through. A first grade art class made some inspirational tiles during art period, mailed it to the hospital, put it on the fence. Media picked up on it. Tens of thousands of tiles poured in from all over the world. It was such a blessing. This is a quiet zone. I need to get off the microphone, folks. Tiles for America. What's left to your right? You may stand to get a photograph if you wish. Hold on, Victor.
Να πιάτε και θέλει, πάει το αφήνει και τα χρησιμοποιούν. Γύρω λέει φωτογραφίες με μαμάδες. Και λέω στη Μαρία όταν πήγαν με
Well, first grade art class, I can't talk on the last one. First grade art class made some inspirational tiles. Mailed them to the hospital. Nurses came up, put these 20 or so tiles on. They walked all over these sidewalks. They were distributed to the people, camped out, sleeping. While they were waiting for news, they would flip through these tiles and read all the messages from around the world. It was heart-wrenching, but a beautiful outpouring of the world's community. I mean, it seemed to bring the whole world together. Comes the former World Trade Center site, Brooklyn Bridge. Stop. Go into that little church straight ahead, St. Paul's Chapel. To me, that is the heartbeat of New York, folks. George Washington worshipped there in that church. He spent 2 hours in prayer before stepping out to accept the presidency of the United States. It is the oldest building in continuous use in New York City, 1767. It is where the firemen slept, rescue workers, EMTs, between their long shifts of 14, 16 hours working on what was called the pile. They slept there, was fed there, were prayed with there. And folks, miraculously, that little church was the only building that remained undamaged, untouched, unscathed when the Twin Towers imploded. Not even a window pane was cracked in all these buildings around after those were blown out from the powerful 400 miles per hour burst wind of the towers created. This is our stop. Does anybody wish to get off? Former World Trade Center site, Brooklyn Bridge. Here on Broadway, into the island, straight in. Behind this little chapel, folks, is the former World Trade Center site, 16 acres, 7 buildings comprise the former World Trade, 2 of which, of course, are the Twin Towers. They're all 7 feet down. That glass building to your right is there, that is World Trade Center 7.
So was he trying to say something?
Thank you.